Hollywood. It was rather unusual because he said there was all kinds of strange things happening. So at midnight when I got off work, I drove over there. I arrived about 12:15. He let me in, and we started walking around, and music was coming out of the walls. After being there about 25 minutes, the temperature just went down to frigid. It was really cold. So we investigated further. There was no one on the stage. All the doors was locked. And when I left, the temperature was back down to normal and the music had stopped. And needless to say, he put in for a transfer.
Hauntings have taken place in the strangest of locations.
I've investigated quite a number of sites in Hollywood, including the old Houdini estate on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. All that's left is a staircase today. The main mansion burned down decades ago. But many people have reported apparitions on that staircase. Some believe it to be the magician himself, Harry Houdini.
As you know, Houdini publicly was a skeptic as far as psychic phenomena was concerned. That's not uncommon. Most magicians, and particularly those at the level of Houdini, have had the same attitude or response, that psychic phenomena is not legitimate. And I think that Houdini felt so because he was able to create so many illusions himself, but they were done technically and mechanically.
Houdini made a pact with his wife. He said that if there were an afterlife, he would communicate a code to her.
One of these supernatural affairs to cover tomorrow night, Martha. If you're interested, come on along.
They give me a queer feeling.
But this is something worthwhile. Madame Houdini is going to try to contact her dead husband, the great Harry Houdini. You know, he promised to contact her within 10 years' time through a certain code, if such a thing were possible.
Yes, I remember reading something about it.
Tomorrow will mark the 10th anniversary of his death, and it'll be Madame Houdini's final attempt to communicate with him.
A very famous psychic, American psychic by the name of Arthur Ford, claimed privately to Mrs. Houdini that he did indeed have the code, and when they met, he gave her the code, and the next day she arranged for a press conference where she acknowledged that Arthur Ford had indeed provided the very precise code that Houdini had arranged with his wife. Now, the final aspects of the story are even more interesting. Mrs. Houdini had been involved with and was raised in a Christian church. She was a very devout and loyal woman to her church. And within a day after her public announcement, officials of the church called upon her and persuaded her to retract her statement, which she did do. And through to the end, she maintained that no one had ever successfully broken the code or provided it to her.
I'm glad to see you back, Madame. I could hardly wait. Was the seance a success?
Mary.
Yes, Madame.
There will be no more seances, Mary.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But they've proven a failure.
But they haven't. Not exactly. Mary, you knew my husband a long time.
Oh, yes, Madame.
And you remember what he always said about these things? That it was impossible for the dead to return. This proves he was right. For if it would have been possible, I would have had some sign from him in the past 10 years. Well, that is over. But I would have loved to have talked with him just once.
He and I investigated the home of silent heartthrob Rudolph Valentino, a lady who claimed that Rudolph Valentino was haunting her house. We did some historic research and discovered that, yes, indeed, that had been the home of Rudolph Valentino back in the 20s when they were filming the silent classic The Sheik. We did find a ghost, too. A troubled spirit had been seen, a misty apparition.
Valentino died, and his death became a national tragedy. His funeral, an international event. For 2 years, his house remained abandoned until actor Harry Carey moved in. But Carey discovered that he wasn't alone in the house. He reported that he was sharing it with the ghost of Valentino. The following year, a newsreel, Ghosts of Hollywood, recorded the haunted visits.
Perched high upon this crest, like the nest of an eagle, he appropriately named this abode Falcon Lair. Through this gate and up to the tower room, which was his den, his retreat, he was wont to go so often that it became a daily habit, and it is claimed by those near and dear to him that the spectral being of the departed Valentino still haunts the window where he gazed down upon the place he learned to love so well, Hollywood.
Hauntings are also memories that come back, usually based on tragedies that happened in a place. They're also supposedly people who have passed over and have not accepted that and have lived in a place an awful long time. And a lot of people report strange things happening when they start rebuilding on the premises, moving furniture around, building walls, taking down walls, etc. The spirits evidently don't like that of the people who passed over, supposedly.
Not far from Falcon Lair is the former house of another reported ghost, George Superman Reeves, whose mysterious death still haunts this town.
Yeah. Yeah? Good. That's a call I've been waiting for, Miss Lane. Everything's been taken care of, except you.
Blakey, don't. You just get a few years for the jewel robbery, but for this...
That's the chance I gotta take. No, I don't believe it.
You will, Blinky. You will.
You're just wasting your ammunition, Blinky. Sit down.
Hey, let me out. Let me out!
Another few seconds and it would have been too late, Superman.
Well, it wasn't, Miss Lane, and that's what counts. What time is it?
Just about 12:30.
Well, I can't wait for the police. I have an appointment date. Excuse me.
You won't have to worry about riding your pals now, Blinky.
For the children of the 50s, there was no more tragic figure in haunted Hollywood than George Reeves, Superman, the Man of Steel, dead in his bedroom of a bullet wound to the head. How George Reeves died on June 16, 1959, may always remain a mystery. But reports of his afterlife visits may be even more unexplainable. The house has had several residents since Reeves died. One couple reported hearing noises in the bedroom. They went up to the room, only to find the Man of Steel dressed as Superman, staring at them and slowly disappearing from in front of their eyes. The couple moved out that night and never returned.
And so, boys and girls, be super citizens and have a super future by saving regularly with United States savings stamps at school. And keep on making me and everyone else as proud of you as we are today. Bye now.
Bye.